Welcome back to SoCal High Cal. What is the best barbecue dish? Is it the smoked brisket? Is it the pulled pork? The sausage? Really, what's best to do is get yourself a sampler platter if you can. And if you get the sampler platter, you'll see that the unsung hero is the smoked turkey. You know what you think? You say, Jack, I don't have a smoker. How am I going to smoke a barbecue turkey at home? You don't need a smoker. You can have delicious barbecue turkey at home with nothing more than a backyard barbecue grill. So go ahead and get your grill preheated to 450. Let me tell you how I prep these turkey cutlets. So first of all, let's dry brine these turkey pieces by coating them in kosher salt and letting them sit for about 10 minutes. What that's going to do is it's going to dry out some of the moisture from inside the turkey and let it brine in its own juices. So after 10 minutes, we can wick this dry, and that will help the outer layer crisp up easier and brown better on the grill. Now I'm going to coat them in a barbecue dry rub. Any dry rub will work, but I made this one myself so I could just ensure that there was no salt in it, because after the dry brine, these turkeys are plenty salty. So this is just a quarter cup of brown sugar, quarter cup of paprika, half a tablespoon of chili powder, garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, and half a teaspoon of cayenne. And really rub all this in there. You can do this with chicken too if you want, and let that sit for a minute while I get some barbecue sauce ready for basting this bird. I'm gonna add a little bit of molasses. That will just help the sugary sauce caramelize a bit more as it cooks, and just a little bit of liquid smoke so we can really goose that smoky flavor of the grill. Let's return to our turkey and put some olive oil on that. This way we won't even have to oil the grill grates when we get out there. See? Now let these go for about 4 to 5 minutes per side, depending on how thick they are. All right, now let's go ahead and give these a flip. Oh, and just look at how those sugars are already starting to blacken. It's delicious. Let those go another 4 minutes on this side. Now let's give these all another flip and give them a good base in your barbecue sauce. Today I'm using Lily's Q Hot Smoky, which is out of Chicago. They call it a Memphis style sauce. Memphis style sauce is going to be pretty thin, very tangy, as opposed to a Kansas City sauce, which will be thicker and a lot sweeter. Meanwhile, folks in North Carolina prefer to do a vinegar-based sauce. Alabama does a mayonnaise-based white sauce. South Carolina likes a mustard-based gold sauce. Oklahoma does sort of a ketchup-based kind of mixed with a Texas-style sauce. And the Texas-style sauce is very thin, a little spicy. It's almost getting towards a hot sauce. But then, of course, there'll be people in Texas that say real barbecue has no sauce and it's only salt and pepper and smoke. But, you know, that's like saying, oh, real chili has no beans in it. It's like, fuck off with that. All right. Look at this sauce, and these sugars are starting to caramelize here. Give these all a second baste. And let those go for 2 minutes more. All right. And the great thing about barbecue is that it's really all about the meat. All the great barbecue dishes is just all about the meat. So then it really becomes a time where the sides can really shine. I'm talking about green beans, baked beans, cornbread, corn cobs, coleslaw, fried okra, mac and cheese. Heck, you could even do French fries if you were so inclined. But I want to tell you, one of the really underrated barbecue sides, slice of white bread. Simple yet refined, soaks up that barbecue sauce, pillowy soft texture that is great as a contrast to your smoked meats. I'm gonna add some extra barbecue sauce to this just to make sure things are extra saucy. Sarah's gonna stick a hand in to get this drop that I missed. Don't forget about your acidic pickles and the sharp bite of some raw white onions. That's a Texas style way to plate this up, and that's something I think everyone can agree on. Delicious, smoky, crispy, juicy. Thank you so much for joining us on SoCal High Cal. We'll see you next time. And that's not all white bread's good for. Check this out. Grab a loaf of white bread and tear it up. I'm looking for about 4 rips each direction here. Throw that in a bowl, and we're going to dump in a cup of milk, followed by a half a tablespoon of cinnamon with a little bit of salt, and a cup plus 2 tablespoons of sugar. Go ahead and crack 2 whole eggs right in there because things are about to get sloppy. Don't forget a teaspoon of vanilla and give all of this a good mixaroo. Dump in 1 can of tart cherries, drained, and give that all another toss. Now let's grease up a baking dish and fill it up with this slop. Now let's pour, I'd say, a generous 1.5 ounces of bourbon right on top here, and this is going in a 375-degree oven for 45 minutes. In the meantime, we can grab a 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, and we're gonna whisk in 2 tablespoons of melted butter, half a tablespoon of vanilla, and another generous 1.5 ounces of bourbon. Anytime I make a glaze like this, I always think I've done something wrong because it's clumping, it's not really mixing, but with a little bit of elbow grease, it always ends up all right. Now the bread pudding is baked, we're going to top it with this bourbon glaze. Here it is, our bourbon cherry bread pudding. First bites. Oh my God, it really is as good as it looks. Sweet, hot, gooey with a tangy pop of cherries. And remember, when it comes to barbecue, it's all about the meats, it's all about the sides, and it's all about the desserts. Now, here's my dessert. Where's everybody else's? Thanks for joining us. See you next time.